Hello, good evening, and welcome to the conversation here on ETV Ghana. My name is Ohene Bampobia, and of course, tonight I'm in conversation with one legend when it comes to youth football in Ghana and also national team football. In general, he's made the transition from being just a household name in football to coaching. He was part of the 1989 Scotland team. Also played in 1991 youth, tournament. Also played in the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. Also in that same year, played for the senior national team in Senegal in 1992. So yeah, this a man who's got so much to talk about here on this show. Of course, we talk about the side that you never get to see on the screen. The man and the coach. Of course, I'll go for a quick break. When I do come back, I'll talk to my guest here on the conversation. Stay with me. You're welcome back from the break, and of course, this is the conversation here on ETV Ghana. My guest tonight is a man who recently was the head coach of Accra Great Olympics. Left on a very, controversial note. We'll get to that conversation in a minute, but as I did in my intro, he's played for 3 years, played in every single major tournament for the national team in Scotland, in Barcelona, in 1991, youth games, played for the senior national team that same year in 92 in Senegal. Also played for some of the biggest clubs, or the biggest club in the Greater Accra region, one of the biggest clubs in Ghana, Accra House of Folk. That transfer from Power Lines to Accra House of Folk became the most talked about transfer in Ghana. We'll get to that conversation. My guest on the conversation is Preko, player and coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How is it for you this time around? Is it much more relaxed that you're not coaching a Premier League team? You are now coaching Shooting Stars, or it's a never-ending job?
Um, More relaxed, more relaxed when you because when it comes to shooting stars, uh, the tempo and the demand is not the same as coaching a Premier League club. But I like it because I get the opportunity to implement so many things, because in the Premier League is more like result orienting. So you have to make sure that you don't get enough time to for the boys to catch so many things. But here, we are developing the kids. So whether we lose or we win, we still have to be on the track in terms of basics and everything. We don't want to rush them, so it's a learning process. We make sure that we don't rush them, and like in the likewise the Premier League is a different ball game. You sometimes the pressure, the training and everything, you get so worried when you come back home and the training didn't go well as planned. But here, you can go back and revisit it again. But the Premier League, you need to, speed things up. So at the moment, I'm more relaxed.
And of course, you get to avoid the insult as well.
Exactly, exactly.
Because Olympic supporters are noted for some very unpleasant words. I won't repeat them on national TV.
I don't know. I think when the way I was I thought of the Olympic supporter. I think because majority of the supporters, I knew them before taking the job. Because I played for House of Oak. When I go to stadium, I see them, and some of them, greeting me is already an insult. Especially when the season has nearly went to relegation. I remember some of the supporters, some of the Olympic fans were telling me, House will go down, and they were teasing me. House will go down, and the Gam and Checkup will be played at what's the name, Kolebu, that in Dafa Park. Yes, wide open, and this is where they will teach House of Folk lesson.
Interesting. I mean, Olympic supporters are always
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. So when I went to Olympics, we already knew each other, and it wasn't. I took it easy. Yeah, I took it. I had it.
We'll come back to Olympics and the progress from the transition from being a household name in football, and then doing the transition into coaching. We will come back to that conversation. But let's start. How did you get involved in football? Is this something that is in the family? How did you,
My father was a good footballer. Was a good footballer. When he was schooling and when he was working for working at university farms, they used to play, more like the Indafa kind of football. And even though I didn't see him play. I saw a little bit of him, but those who grew up with him
we'll say a lot
will
about
say,
his
I
football
remember
talent?
the year 2000, come 2000 when I met Honorable Yiti Mensah, when he was introducing he told the guys, this guy, he's not up to his father's standard because he played with my father. So E.T. was also a very good player, I was told. So it was already in the blood. And way back when we were growing up, it was more you wanted to just play for fun, play for fun, and you small-sided, gutter to gutter, and so it wasn't planned
It
to
wasn't an
be.
organized sport. It was
That is it.
just playing for
Just
fun.
play
Yeah.
for fun. I remember my first club. My first guy, a guy came from Nigeria. He was a tailor. Then I was living in Medina. And when I was born in University Farms.
Okay.
Yes, I grew up in University Farms, and we used to play a lot Hassan Kotoko. So when there is Hassan Kotoko, you just imagine the tension. Yeah, and that's how I learned how to handle tension, because nobody want to lose. And then I was a Kotoko supporter.
Then,
Then I was a Kotoko. I'm Kotoko by blood and Has by heart.
okay,
I will explain it.
that's a bit confusing. But
Yes,
you
I will explain it. Yeah, I was born, my family is Kotoko. Everybody was Kotoko. I grew up in a Kotoko house. Yeah, in the beginning, even when Has beat Kotoko, I don't eat. I find it difficult. Then in my house every day is fufu. My mother like fufu. My father like, so I'm a Shanti boy with fufu. So, and Sunday, just imagine Sunday has beaten Kotoko.
you can eat your fufu.
I can't eat my fufu. But so for me to grow up and play for House of Oak, it baffles a lot of people.
Especially people who knew you from
Yes,
childhood.
from childhood, and I'll get to yeah.
So let's get to power lines. Was that your first proper club?
My first proper club was Power Lines, but I played for Medina, Be Serious Babies. My first competitive days was a club called Be Serious Babies, and a guy came from Nigeria, formed the club. Then we were using tie and dye,
Batik.
He asked everybody to bring a white shirt, and then they put it in tie and dye.
I see the combination.
That
It
is
just
it.
comes out with
Just
multi.
come, and then we put numbers at the back. Then I joined Medina Fireman. There was only one club in Medina, Fireman. Only one coast club. So from Fireman, I moved to Power Lines because it got to a stage where 92, 90, 83, 84, the owner of Fireman got tired of the club and he decided to get rid of it. Then our coach, he then I think he was then in contact with the late Ladanso, so he moved almost
All the team,
all the team,
all the players
all the players to. So then I was living in Medina, but we come to Kotobabi
to train
to
and play
train
matches.
and play matches, and not every day during the week we train, I think, maybe twice at Kotobabi. They will move some of the players from here, from Kotobabi. They put them in a bus
To Medina.
to Medina, because 90% of the team
Were
were in
coming from
Medina.
Medina.
So we used to train at Presec Park. We go there. The bus will bring them from here to Medina, and then we train and then we meet them at Presec and train, and then the bus will go and drop us in town, and then they move them. Then weekends, the bus will come and pick us. Power lines, we were like,
All professional club.
I'm telling you, that man, wherever he is, God should take good care of him, because Ladan, so he changed our life.
Interesting, but Power Lines, then two clubs in Ghana, all of them wanted to sign you. Already, you were full-blooded Kotoko, and a club that you've played, you've dreamt about, you supported throughout your childhood, wants to sign you, and a club also in Accra wants to sign you. How did that even start?
When we came back from Scotland, came back from Scotland, Scotland,
So Scotland
89.
is 89.
Scotland 89.
Okay, so let's go back. How did you get into Scotland, the national team for Scotland?
I think 88 the Greater Accra schools, Greater Accra school and Greater Accra selected side played against Starlets 89. That's then Starlets 88, preparing for 89 tournament. We played them. I think we were beating 3-0 at Accra Sports Stadium. Then it was a Ketereza, We were beating 3-0, and I really played well. So so my coaches spoke to the coach of Starlets, that this boy is from Kotoabi Power Lines, and and then they asked, okay, I should come. Coach Eshen was then the coach, and Coach Eshen asked if I can come in, and so I was living at Kotobabi, and in the morning, because then there was no phone,
Well, you've left Medina and you're staying.
I was staying in Kotobabi, and I will leave in the morning at 5 o'clock to stadium, because the team will be there at 6 o'clock. Latest by 6:30, they are already there, and so I leave at home at 5 o'clock, go to the stadium and wait for them. Sometimes they don't come in the morning, and I don't have anybody to ask. So I come back come back home, and then go prepare and go back in the evening. If I get to the grounds and they are there, hallelujah. They are not there, I'll jog from in the evening. I'll jog from the stadium
Back to Tubabi.
back to Kotowabi and come and train with the team.
Hold your thought there. Very interesting one. We'll go for a quick break. We'll back. We'll do that controversial transfer and get into other matters as well. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. I'm in conversation with Coach Preko. He was telling me earlier about how he got into that Scotland, Ghana team for Scotland 1989. And we'll talk about, even after Scotland, how he became, a major news, story here in Ghana about a young boy who, stunned between playing for his beloved Kumasi Asante Kotoko in Accra Asufo. Coach, so Scotland, you finally got into it.
Then I was asked to. I got injured and I went home. One of the trainings I got injured, I went home, and then I got missing because I was not going. So Coach Eshen saw one of the officials from Power Lines, and he asked, he used to call me small. He said, that was then the official from Power Lines was Samuel Kaite, the late Samuel Kaite. And he said, oh, he's home and he's injured. I said, no. What happened? He said, oh, he got injured when he came to train. Coach Eshen asked him to tell me I should come to the camp. So I went to Teshi, and Malam Seidu took care of me. So when I healed, I started training with the team. And when I was already going home and coming back with training with the team, the players, they saw the qualities in me, and then my speed was exceptional. Yes. So everybody liked it. When I was playing with the likes of Alex Opoku and the rest.
It's easy for you to send the ball to you, and they will know you will pick it.
So if you can locate me, I'll finish the rest for you. So they enjoyed my play because everybody like, you know, players who like to run behind defenders. And most of our training, it was 11 aside every day, 11 aside, 11 aside. So if you are performing bad, everybody can see that Akwe Wabon. So I went to the camp, and when I got healed, I was going to went to second D to play Wise. Kalilu
German.
Dramani was then playing for Wise. When we got there, I was on the bench and I was wearing, normally, then my size was 7.5, 7.5, and they gave me size 7 Puma. Hey,
Tights.
tight. I couldn't run. But the coach asked, small, a bit about 10. I've never played 10 before. I'm a winger or 9. But I said, yeah, I can. He said, go and change the number 10. Because the number 10 was afraid of Kalilu. Yes, Kalilu was playing 4. And the number 10 was more afraid. And then I went in and I was doing my rounds, you know.
So you couldn't locate you because you were very
Yes,
mobile.
yes, exactly. And after the game, he said, I will, if you do a crack of Kofa Onyema bra, waka camper. And that's how
You got into
I
it.
got into the team, and I cemented my position there. I fought for it. Then we had a Kevin Asian. Kevin Asian, and Kevin Asian was my idol. When I watch those days, when I go to stadium and I see Starlets play, Kevin is the one I look at. The way he runs, his movement, and I said, "Kai, I wish I can play like this guy." And now I'm in the camp with him, fighting, fighting
For
to
a
take
place. Yeah.
his position. I was like, "Damn, that's yeah." And then we went to Scotland, we went to Brazil, training training camp. Then we came back, we beat Ivory Coast here, and then we went back to Brazil again. We went for 3 weeks, and no 6 weeks. We came back, and then we went back for another 3 weeks before we went to Scotland. And 89, the tournament itself. So from Brazil, we went to Germany, Germany to Scotland, and then we came back. So when we came back, we were already hot cakes, even though we couldn't.
And for our viewers, Scotland 89 was actually the first ever under 17 tournament. Indeed, that time was under 16.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was 14 years by then when he played for Ghana, the Scotland.
It was we were, I think, overconfident, because when we went to Brazil, we beat everybody. We beat everybody. So when we went to that, when we drew 0-0 against Scotland, we thought playing Bahrain
And Cuba.
and Cuba, we thought, oh, well, Cuba football, Cuba's the movie. Hey, they gave us, and we thought Bahrain, oh, these Arabs, we are far ahead of them. They gave us one hell of a. And unfortunately, we couldn't progress to the next stage, and we came back home. But Ghanaians were excited. Oh, seeing us on screen for the first time, major tournament. I heard it was shown live in Ghana, so on TV. And nowadays, when you meet a guy, you meet somebody, oh, coach, and we ask, coach, Papa say no, onimu, mama say no, muna namu battle so no. And some of the players, when you are coaching them and your name comes out, they go like, oh, they go home and tell their, so it's from I know this guy from 89, and they keep talking about your chain. Then our jersey, we were wearing Charlie.
Things have changed.
We same bigger with the same jersey as the senior national team, the white.
But that was bigger. The guys were smaller.
Yes, we were smaller and the bigger, so you can see your neck. The shape
What
of
they used to describe as Rollins chain.
it rolling change.
So you came back from Scotland and everybody wanted you to play for them.
When I came back from Scotland, Odate left. Initially they wanted to keep us together, and so that for the next tournament. But already we belong to other clubs, various teams, and our owners also, because people were talking about money, and Premier Division clubs were interested and everything. So I was in we were in Kanesi Complex and Benadai and Benadai Olympics and Hope Sowenu. They were then both Olympics players. They took me to Harris Accor
Arizko was then the CEO of Olympics.
for Olympics, and he gave me money. He gave me money, but I returned the money because I told my boss, and he said, no, I told the late Sami Okaite. I told him, look, Bernard and Hope took me to Harrisburg, and this is what he gave me. Bus stop. Yes, with some pie. Yes, the famous bar.
You get a pie.
I got a pie, and that was my first time of meeting Harizako. And he said, look, Olympics, we can do everything for you, blah, blah, the usual talk. And then as we're going, I think I was given, is it 30,000 or 3,000? Yeah, something big, big envelope. Then I gave it to Bernard and Hope that they should return it to. I don't want to take the money because Samuel Kate said I shouldn't. So I should. So and Anthony Mensah, Antonio Sekojo. Then we had Antonio Sekojo, Baba Musa, and Kweku Ochiri, the goalkeeper. They took me to one late General Mu Odoko. They took me there. I went to his house. He asked me to come back to the office the following day. They took me to the office. I was given two pieces of clothes. I should go and give it to my parents and a bundle of cash. Yeah, Kotoko. Yes, he said I should go and think about it because I told him I will not take the final decision. The final decision will come from my boss. And so I told Samuel Kaiti, and he spoke to. He said, if anything, I should come to him. So I told him, look, I was invited. I went there. He said, oh, I shouldn't worry. The cash, I should just keep it, but I should tell my boss. So I told my late boss. Then he said, oh yeah, because my late boss was then the Kotoko Circle 8
Chairman.
So
he had vested interest in that.
That is it. So, but before then, he left the Kotoko. He left Kotoko chairman, chairman position. I don't know what happened, and he joined one of the chapters in.
So he left from.
Yes.
He moved from Kotoko to Has.
Yes, he moved from Kotoko to Has. So he became Has, and we were all shocked, like because the house was Kotoko, and all of a sudden your boss moved from a chairman of a chapter to a circle to a chapter, and it was weird for us. But then he stopped going to Kotoko matches, and he was going to stadium to watch House of Oak matches, and we were like, "Wow, I did with a strange part." But then Kotoko came in. I heard Kotoko were Kotoko officials or the chapter, the management, they were, on him and every time and asking me to come to Kumasi, and they want to sign me, but he was not telling me anything. So BBR in Amasun, I don't know what was going on, and I was just concentrating on playing Power Lines second division. I wasn't, because Premier was not something that
part of the plan.
My plan was Starlets. We'll go back to camp, get 3 meals a day.
Okay.
That is all that I'm thinking of, and then try and qualify Starlets
to another tournament. So how did Has come into the picture?
I was because Power Lines, the man who used to pray for Power Lines was also the one who was
chaplain for Power Lines. Same
chaplain for House of Oak. So you see, and so it was more like Has can get you, Kotoko can also get you, but it's up to the man himself
to
decide. So I was at home, and I remember one afternoon Monday Stars, we were playing Monday Stars at Kutubabi. I don't normally go and play Monday Stars because then Kasim Mingles and Bobos, they were playing Monday Stars and Premier Division players.
We're the ones playing.
Yes,
Yeah.
so I didn't want to go there. I may not get the chance to play. So I don't go to Kotowabi to play. You know, Monday Stars started at Kotowabi. The hell, yes. So, but I go there and watch. Because I'm just from Starless and I don't. I think I'm not up to the standard. Ali Ibrahim and the rest, they were ahead. So I go there and watch. I think Abladi came there, and when he came there, he was told I've gone back home. He came there. He came there. Came to my house, and I, while I was walking him to the station, he said he want me to come to House of Folk, and that he's playing number 7 position. He will move to the 8th position, which is his favorite position.
So that you then come.
The 7 will be mine. They don't have any 7. Trophy is leaving to Olympics, so the 7 will be mine. But I didn't see myself
Playing for Castle.
playing for us.
All the thoughts there. We'll go for a quick break again. When we do come back, we will continue and then talk some national team football and also how you got into coaching. Stay with us. You're welcome back from the break, and I'm here, the training grounds of Shooting Stars Football Club, a Division 2 club in Ghana, where their head coach is here, Preko, and I'm in conversation with him. The show is live on ETV Ghana. Coach, so it wasn't even a management member who made the first move of convincing you to join us. It was a player who happens to be a friend.
Yeah. So I was at home. I was at home one evening, and I saw some of the circle members of Kotoko, and I knew one of them. So they came to me. Mr. Danso said they should take him to Kumasi, and that he has given me his blessing, and they were with him. They were with him. I saw them in the evening. So they went to, a place where they used to go and sit and talk. So I thought, okay, if that's the case, then probably they were together. So I just picked one or two things in a bag and
Off to Kumasi.
off to Kumasi. We went in. We went to President Kufuor's house. Yeah, it was not. I think he had traveled then, and then they drove me to. Well, I was in a van. Then they drove me to Mugazel in Labone. Yeah, and he told me he'll give me 30,000 every month, and apart from what Kotoko is giving me, he will pay me 30,000. And when I look at the money that a small boy coming from Sales that I'll be earning, I said, hey, it will be enough money in my pocket. That's a big money. Then, but he called Coach Sunday. He called Coach Sunday. Coach Sunday was then the coach, and Coach Sunday coached me at the Starless 88, 89. He was part of the team that went to Brazil. So we called Coach Sunday, and he told them we should sleep. They should find a place for me to sleep and bring me to Kumasi the following day. So they took me to Aka Anthony, the journalist, at Newtown, somewhere.
Where his office was at the time.
Yes. We went there, and then we went to his house, and I slept over. And the next day, they said they would take me to the station, and then I'll board a bus to Kumasi. But in the morning, I think Kwabra Eboa went to Kotowabi. Kwabra used to come to Samuel Kainte every morning, and then they eat together. We normally eat together before Kwabra will go back to office. So Kwabra went there, and he was told, Samuel said, we can't find you. And Kwabra said, because Kwabra passed at Aka's place before.
So he saw you there.
He saw me there. And then I said, what am I doing here? And then I narrated the whole story. And he said, okay. And I should take me to Kumasi. And he wished me well. And so he went there. Sami told me, we can't find it out. And Ladanso is complaining they don't know my whereabouts and everything. And Kwabra said, I just saw you at
Ake's house.
yeah. He's leaving to Kumasi. He said, Ladanso asked, and And Sammy was shocked, like, Ladanso doesn't, he's looking for Yao. He doesn't even know where Yao is. So what is happening here? So Sammy asked Kwabran to come and pick me. So he came with Kwabran to Newtown, and Kwabran realized this. I think there's kind of
tension and there's
a
confusion
rough
going to
play
happen.
in this. So somebody also called the officials from House of Oak. Some of the members from House of Oak. So they also came to Kotowabi, because in the morning when everybody was saying Yao can't be found and everything, and so they also came to Kotowabi, and then Kwabran picked me up from Ake's place, and they all joined in, and then when I got to Kotowabi, my boss' office, it was like a carnival. Okay, the house members and Kotoko. So they took me to the room, and I had a meeting with us, Kotoko. Kotoko, and their usual promises. We'll give you this, we'll give you that, we'll give you this, and did that and that. And they asked me, "Will you play for us?" I said, "Yes." They went out. House of Oak also came. They spoke. You know, I saw more with House of Oak. I'll get the opportunity to play.
It wasn't about the money or
yes,
it was just about
we'll make you popular. We'll make you popular. For House of Oak, we don't have that big money, but
we'll make you popular.
We'll make you popular.
And that's what stayed with you.
Yes. But I was still not, I was finding it difficult to say no to one. So I said yes to both. And then they went to my boss, and my boss said, they told my boss, I said yes to both of them. Now he has to decide. And he said, no, he will not decide. So they took a car. They sent a car to University Farm
to bring your parents.
To bring my father was working to bring my father, and he came. My father was a strong Kotoko man. But when he came, he saw the scenario. They narrated everything. He said he doesn't want his son to go to Kumasi now. I'm too young to go to Kumasi. And secondly, Kotoko had Isaac Kwati on the right side, Thomas Boachi on the right side. He thinks if I go
to
too much quality, then House of Oak, they don't have wingers. So I'll be better off.
So that didn't make an emotional decision. He made a very footballing decision.
That is it. He said he told them he's a strong Kotoko supporter.
But the son will play for us.
100%. He thinks sitting here, being in Accra, and then being under Ladanso is the best option. And if I get to Kumasi, he doesn't want whereby he will be here and then they'll tell him Mibana Kosho will be Nyensen. A young boy with a little big money in his pocket in Kumasi. If I don't get the opportunity to play, I may end up impregnating, then my life will be. So he told them, fine, I'll play for.
So that's when the decision was made.
That's how the decision was made.
How did the Kotoko people take it?
They didn't. They went against Kwabran Yeboah, saying because
he came to take
he came
from the house.
Yes, and Kwabran then was married to the
daughter of Arisoya.
Yes, and then we all shift the blame
on Kwabran.
The writer. So I narrated when I went to, I think, one of the newspapers, I think Sports Coin or something like that, or I have the paper at home, and they asked, and my story, I gave them a story in a way, it pushed Kwabran a little bit. So Kwabran also came out and said, if we hold his neck against the wall, he will open his mouth, and things that will come out of it, because we didn't want also
to offend anybody.
So the story became like and then the Kotoko people started a Kotoko player going to play for House of Oak. He will not play with give his best, and so they started hitting me. Newspapers from Kumasi also started writing bad. He will go and take bribe, and so with that, it took the Kotoko
Away from you.
away from me.
So the love became hatred for the club.
Yes, I went to House of Folk and
Wanted to prove a point.
yes,
Okay.
to show them whatever that they were saying would not get me. And I started the season very well with House of Folk. Even before my first training, I was given House of Folk shirt. Those days you could wear any shirt to training. I was given House of Folk shirt with the phobia in it, and I took a picture. I took a picture with my some of my supporters, and I there was a this thing somewhere, a studio somewhere in Jamestown. There, we went there. I wore the shirt, and the next day was in
National newspapers.
in the national newspapers. I said, "I'm for House of Folk," and period. So when we when we went to when I started the league, fortunate for me, I started the season very well for House of Folk, very very well, and then we met Kotoko. We met Kotoko, and then I think it was 31st December. 31st December. So it was President Cup and
the league together, just
yes,
like we did this season.
Yes. And went to two. It was 2-2. Went to penalties, and I missed the decider. And at the stadium, Kotoko supporters started, Yamaniska, say catch on over this car. Ontimi say Kotoko da. Or no be say or no Kotoko da su mu. And when I heard those things, it hurt me so much that these people want to kill me. You know, and I'll prove to them that I'm a professional. And this is my profession, and I have to make sure that I will achieve something. And where I loved House of Folk supporters were, they told them, if I'm the only person to take money for Kotoko to lose, for us to lose, then I should take money every day when I will play Kotoko. You get me?
So they protected you.
They protected me.
Oh.
So
you loved them.
I loved them. The love I got from House of Folk. It was amazing. I tell you. So I gave everything. I gave even my friends in Medina. You know, we used to play House and Kotoko, and for them to see me or to see the way I killed myself for House of Folk, and killing myself and scoring goals, and I, you know, I hated Kotoko so much, you know, because I'm a House of Folk player now. Then I felt like you want Kotoko to lose. If Kotoko should go to relegation, for you to win the league,
you're happy,
which is normal, because now I'm a House of Folk player.
Yeah.
So I have to give everything for House of Folk and forget about, like Michael Essien was a United supporter, but when we went to Chelsea, you know, so
that's a true professional.
That is it, and that's how, you know, House of Folk gave me that platform, and I executed everything. Went to Europe on trials, came back to House of Folk, finished the season with House of Folk, played my last FA Cup, and in me, I promised myself I have to score Kotoko before I leave the country.
And indeed, you did.
Indeed, my last match of the season, the FA Cup finals. Even though we lost 4-2, but I scored, and so I left the country satisfied. To Anderlecht. I've achieved why I came to Accra House of Folk. I didn't disgrace myself. Oh yeah, I played only a season, but
They still do remember you.
Yes,
because you made a huge impact.
Oh, I made it.
What's amazing is that same year he played so many national team games. He came back to play for an under-17 team in 1991. 1992 they went for the Senegal, Nations Cup. So he became a full international for the national team, playing 64 games and scoring 4 goals in there. So that's the history, that's the story behind that famous transfer story. And I need Kobna Yeboah to also give me a side of the story from that transfer brouhaha. So that's Yao and his experiences in national team.
I remember in the morning it was in the air. Yao has been kidnapped and everything. As we then Complex was where that's where the registration goes on.
Oh, okay.
Complex inside the stadium.
Okay.
The office there. So some were saying he's going to Kumasi. Some were saying he'll be coming here. So I was the major talking point that day. Wow. And there was no phone for you to call people to call and ask
verify
where is he now.
Yeah, sure.
So in the morning when Ladanso drove me from Accra, we picked somebody from Kotowabi. We went somewhere in town. Then when I got to Complex, as if we've won the league. When we were driving to like a president coming to a program, the supporters, they were all over the car. And you see him, he's in the back. We finished. And you see these excitement. And I remember what I was wearing. I met somebody. I met a guy when I was coaching in Thailand a few years ago, and he told me the exact tracksuit I was wearing.
Wow.
And I was I was wearing my plain glasses, and I was wearing blue and blue tracksuit, sea blue and yellow here, yellow there, and yellow. And the guy said to me, okay tracksuit, and I was, and he said in the guy, when you came to Complex, this is what you were wearing. I was there, I saw you with your glasses, and then that time when in sports news, GTV shows you, that means your story is big. Yeah. So in the evening, GTV news, they showed it. Preko signing for Accra Suffolk, and not a picture.
There's a
video of me signing to be sure
for everybody. That's a proper superstar.
That is it. At the time. That's it. And so because of that, my name.
Yeah.
So I became everywhere, and you have to now. Everything is done. Show it on the page.
We'll come back and talk about national team football, and then his transition from as a player into coaching, and all the ups and downs during his career. I remember that famous Kenichi Ashowashi team where he was assistant, and the things that happened. We'll be back shortly to do that as well. Stay with us. All right, welcome from this break, and I'm in a conversation with Preko, who is now coach for Shooting Stars Football Club, a Division 2 club in Ghana. Until recently, he was the head coach for Accra Great Olympics. Let's talk about the transition. Was it difficult for you to move from a playing career, glorious one, of course, into coaching? Who influenced you?
Initially, I wasn't. Coaching wasn't part of my plan. I came back 2007. 2007 after 3 months in Asia. And then when I came back, I decided, my plan was to go back to Europe, just stay there. And then we started playing at Kotowabi every morning. Every morning, Kwame Ayudu, we were getting info goggles, and so I realized, my friends are still here. Let me hang around a little bit and see how it goes. So, and one afternoon I met Coach Dauda Lutrot. He asked me, why don't you want to coach? I said, coach. Then he coached me. When I was playing for Powerlines. I said, coach, I'm not interested to be a coach. Sitting on that hot, and the way you guys, 3 o'clock sun, hot sun, second division. I'm not interested. I don't think. Okay, he's coaching second division club and called Westland, and then he spoke to the owner about me, and they want me to come, and went to see the owner of the club, and we signed a season contract to see how it goes. So that I started coaching, and then I started picking some points from Coach Dauda, and I started then from nowhere. I started enjoying it, from waking up in the morning and going to what's the name, Ajingano in the sun. So after one season, Coach Dauda left, and he left the team in my hands. After just one season, then I started implementing what I've learned from him, and continuation from what he was teaching the boys. And I had good players as well. So I started enjoying myself, and then I went to do the license C, and then, but when you go to a stage, transition from a player to, when you go to a stage, you have no choice. Even though it's difficult, but the soul is willing. But you realize the body is so weak. You have to just let it go. We will start playing Monday Stars, and uh, I never thought I can go 1 month without playing football. Never, never. But now
It's nature.
I've I've gone 6 months
Without playing football.
without playing football.
Let's talk about your time as assistant with Kanechi at Accra Asofo. When Asofo came calling that, look, we are bringing in a Japanese trainer, we want you to become the assistant coach. How did you take it? You're going back to a club that you played for, and the whole pressure that comes with the club. How did it go for you?
It was a dream come true. Initially, Alaji can be most of the time when I see him at the stadium. I used to go and watch Asofo, and then I was assistant coach with the national
National
team.
team.
National team. I assisted Orlando and then Bobo. So I used to see Akambi at the stadium, and when House of Oak was struggling, and I said we used to talk about it, and he said, "Yeah, make up your mind and come here." I said, "Alaji, at the appropriate time, I'll come. But for now, I'm not too much in a hurry to coach a Premier Division club." And he said, "You come on board." But until Joado joined House of Oak,
As the CEO at the time,
yes, he
or I
was
think
no
MD,
marketing
marketing manager.
marketing manager, and Joe, as he said, he's spoken with Togby, and that he want to bring some of the old players on board, and they are bringing in a Japanese coach, and they want me to come and assist him. And then I was with the local blaster at Obuasi, and the rumors start coming out. I've signed for us for 3 years, 4 years. I said no, I haven't signed any contract. I've not even I've not given Joe 100% guarantee. But the way they were, the pressure and everything, I said, okay, why not? Let me go and give it a try. So I left my second division boys
And join Accra
and
Asofo.
joined
That was a very solid season. I remember that game at Tema against Internationalized, that 3-2, and the jamboree from Tema to Accra. I will never forget that scene. But that journey also came to an abrupt end. How did you take the news that Kaneshi has been fired, is leaving Ghana, and the whole confusion that came with it?
heartbreaking because initially, when Kenny came, everybody, Japanese mechanic and Mercedes mechanic and blah blah blah. But I didn't know what uh, he was going to bring on board. But trust me, when I started working with that man, I realized,
It was a different coach altogether.
I'm telling you, I learned a lot from Kenny in terms of knowing the body, in terms of, when I was playing, certain things that I was doing, but I didn't know why I was doing it. But Kenny taught me everything, and the difference between being an assistant and the head coach, and what the head coach expect from assistant, and your job as an assistant. You know, when I was with the national team, and I was more relaxed as an assistant. But when you are working with Kenichi,
You can't be relaxed.
you can't be relaxed. He takes you along. The man is a machine. He takes you along. We plan before training, after training, we meeting, and we plan for the next session. It was more like,
A military camp.
I'm telling you. And in the beginning, it was hectic. We were then training at a police depot, but gradually I got used to, him. And he's the kind of, he loves his job, and he wants everything to be spot on. So if you don't understand him, you think you have problem with him. In the beginning, I had problem with Kenichi in the beginning as well, but I told him my peace of mind, and then And then we smoked the peace pipe right away. And then he took me to lunch. He took me to go and eat fufu. Nasamu and I, Kenichi took us to. He said he knows a place where a restaurant at opposite the National Theatre. And we told him, Kedi, you can come and eat here. If you want a proper fufu, we'll take you somewhere else. That is how we form the Three Musketeers, that one, and we it was so tight for people to because we were very faithful to each other.
So you think the letting Kenichi go was a mistake?
It was a mistake.
If he was there, he has to have done way better than.
I'm telling you. Look at the fans. Look at the fans. Kenny had
Connection with the supporters.
yes, and because he comes to the pitch and with his long shoe, the way he walks, his movement and everything. The supporters, they come to the stadium. They don't come to. Most of them, they were not coming to see
The football. They come to see the man.
the man. The Japanese coach taking us to. We went to Takwa. It was full. It was, and we beat Mediama 2.
That was the first time Hasbro had won in Takwa.
Yes.
You went to Obuasi to win your first game there in so many years.
And at the Obuasi time, then the problem has started. So it was more like they've put in our sack letters were already.
So you lose the game and you're out.
That was the plan. They thought, House of Oak will lose at Obuasi because what happened before Obuasi, they wanted to sack Kenichi for me to take over. And it didn't happen. I told them, you sack Kenichi because I was already with the national team. That week, what went on, it was like Kenny out and Yao go and take the team. And somebody approached me. Some of the officials approached me, telling me I'm going to take the team to Obuasi. I asked what of Kenichi. They said he will leave. They will improve my contract, and I said no. You sack Kenichi, you sack me as well.
You were loyal to Kenichi.
Very loyal.
So the day he was fired, you joined him.
Yes, because he was fighting for me.
Yeah.
He was fighting. He was fighting for our bonuses. Because I was not taking
salary.
I was not taking bonuses.
Oh, okay. You take salary,
yes,
but not bonuses.
We were told it cut across, and that it wasn't in a contract. They said they don't put in a contract, and that it would come to bonus.
You pay everybody, but they were not paying you.
We were not paying, and then he said, no, you have to pay my assistants some bonuses as well, and I want you guys to improve their contract as well. And he was fighting, and they were having issues with him already. His attitude and the guy who was fighting for me, and you want to sack him and blah blah. I can't betray him. I can't betray him. So I said, look, if you're gonna sack Kenichi, then Kenichi left. He left first at the end of the first round. He left, and I stayed with. They brought in a Portuguese coach. Yeah. I stayed with him. Tragu. Yeah. Till before end of the season, he was also fired, and I took the team till end of the season, and then after I've given my report and everything, so I asked them, season is ended. What next? What do you have for me? You just keep acting. I said, if you are bringing a coach, bring him, so that I know I'm the. He said, you act. We'll see how it goes, and you don't expect me to go and do a recruitment for somebody else to come in, which will not be right.
So you left.
So
you left and you joined Kenichi later in Nigeria.
I had the Nigerian deal.
Oh
yes, the Nigerian deal was for me.
Then you told them that you are
I told them I have a friend who, because they wanted to build an academy and everything, and Kenny was, in terms of academy, he's super. So I said, I have a Japanese coach, and that he can do the work. It wasn't my plan to go with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he also told me, if you don't go, I'm not going. Mm. So I had to, I had to go with him and go and assist him, And before beginning of the season, he left. So I took over the team and finished the season with them. Before I had fun. I
In
had fun in
Nigeria,
Nigeria. It was my first full season as a head coach
coach of a team.
of a team and of a Premier Division
Yeah.
club. And I really, and you've not done it in Ghana. You've done it at the second division level. And for you to leave the shores, played Confederation Cup, and then got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup, and finished eighth and seventh on the league.
So it was a good experience for you.
Yes, yes, and they wanted me to stay. They wanted me to stay. The president loved me. He wanted me to stay, but
You missed home. You wanted to come
yeah,
home.
I wanted to come home. I lost my father within 9 months. I lost my father and I lost my junior brother, and I was feeling too much for the old lady, So I had to be around. So I told them, look, I thank you for the offer, but I think
That's enough.
that's enough. I want to go home and see her.
Your story to Olympics is quite a strange one. You've been in and out several times.
Yeah.
But the last episode, what really happened at the Olympics?
You know,
I've heard rumors that they asked you to drop Ajiman Bedu, whom you thought was doing a good job for you on the field of play. You said no, you played him. And interestingly, you won man of the match for that game.
Coaching Olympics, I never thought I would coach Olympics because
Wow.
when I came back to Ghana and I used to follow Coach Dada's game when he was then coaching for Olympics. I watched him and the insult and everything, and I told Coach Dada, Olympics, hey, I would never coach Olympics. I told Coach Dada, Olympics, the insult is too much. I can't take it. And but when Coach Arnaud got sick, and this guy, their CEO,
Yeah, Oluboy.
Oloboy, there are some names when it goes off the computer. Sometimes it's difficult to. So Oloboy called me around almost midnight Sunday. He asked me, they want me to come and help them out, and that for some few days till Arnaud recovers. And I told them I'll have to. I was then working with Shooting Stars, and I said we have a project going on. I can't leave like that. But fortunate for me, it's so I was doing both.
Okay.
I was doing the morning.
So go to training in the morning with Olympics and come in the evening.
Because then we were fixing the pitch. So we were training at this place, Sakumono.
Oh, okay.
Just imagine, I leave home at 5 o'clock to Sakumono, train, come home, get home around 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, eat something, 12, 1, I'll leave
Magdan.
to Magdan. and I just, because I wanted, it was like something, with the love I had for Olympics, I said, okay, let me go and help them out because they've given me that respect, and I went in and I was enjoying it.
It was a good period. Yeah.
Yes, I enjoyed the little thing with. Then I left to end of when Coach Arnaud came. I left the Mediama, and then when I came back, Coach Arnaud decided to call me back because I was doing the U15. So I decided not to do any Premier League. I was doing the U15 national team, and then Coach Arnaud asked me to come back and help him out again till the end of the season. I went there till end of the season, and he left the team for me. Then I became the head coach of Olympics, and we won the GCs. Everything was going well until some of the players left to the national team. And then majority of the guys got injured. So it got to a stage I had only 18 players out of 30. I had only 18 players with about 4 youth players. And, there was no competition among them. So it became, and fatigue also came in. And when I got sick, I wasn't well. I had malaria before we went to Tamale. When I came back, we went to Kumasi, and then I took a week off. I spoke to the management, and they said I should take a week off. And so against PBN here, I wasn't on the bench, and we drew 2-2. And the next meeting, we had a meeting, and it came up, you know, about after that to the following week, I went with the team to Cape Coast. We won there. We won the Cape Coast match. We came back to Accra, and then we had a meeting about Ajima. Ajima's contract is coming to an end. So the next game, if they don't renew his contract, he cannot, because he signed for 6 months. He cannot. And then he came out. Uh, um, to them, with his age and everything, he shouldn't be a starter. I said, no. How can I tell a senior player who gives everything on the pitch, and to them he should sit on the bench and come in the second half? And but whenever Ajimai is not ready, he will tell me, yeah, he's not ready. But when he's ready, and personally, I see when he's on the pitch, he helps a lot. And he knows if he can play 90 minutes, we'll leave him on the pitch for 90 minutes. If he can't, 70, 75 minutes, we'll take him out. I took him out. I started doing that, and then a couple of games he was not. We came back from injury, so he sat on the bench, and he came in the second half, and we went to me. They said, "You see, when he comes in the second half, he's better, the impact and everything." And I said, "Look, his contract is coming to an end, so you guys, if you think he's personally, I cannot tell Ajimai. I respect him so much. I can't tell him, look, I will not start you. So make up your mind. You come in the second half, or all of a sudden a senior player who yeah, it's not that when he's on the pitch it doesn't work. Yeah, and yeah, one of the games during one of before Dreams match, I had a misunderstanding with the that they are I'm one. I've disobeyed their instructions, and that I shouldn't start at Jimayan. And I said no, the list is already out, and I can't. Just please, let's finish this game. No, you are the head coach, and you can take you can take the final decision. And then if you've already told him, tell him again that he's not starting. I said no. So the technical team, we took the decision together, and he started, and he was voted man of the match. Unfortunate, the game ended 1-1. The last kick of the game, they equalized. So the pain and everything, it hurt them so much, you know. So then they started, you know, they took a decision out of
The emotion,
emotion, yeah. And so Ajima got to know, you know, the situation and everything. Because initially I didn't want to, I wasn't going to tell him. I decided, you know, this is between, you know, I can't tell him. If I tell him, he will attack somebody. So I will manage it. But I had to let everything out, you know, for him to know why all these things. And so at the end, we parted way, and he also said,
if you're leaving, then he's also
if I'm leaving, he's also leaving, because he doesn't think this is how it should go. And we call it a day, and say goodbye to Olympics, and life goes on.
Life goes on. Interesting. I get the emotions from this conversation. It clearly shows that he still has love for Accra Great Olympics and would have loved to stay and do his work with the Wonder Club. But of course, this is where time would allow us. Coach, thank you very much. I've enjoyed this immensely. Hopefully, I'll get to watch some of your Division 2 games as well. So I've been in conversation with Preko, a former youth superstar, also played for the national team, and now coach of various clubs. He's coach Accra, so coach, in Tala, his dream, Olympics, and now coaching Shooting Stars. We thank you very much for staying with us. We'll see you again next week. Have a good week, and bye-bye.